Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 22 here on Bloomfield with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it is mid-October as you can see, and we are starting this episode off where the last version of this episode was supposed to end. Let me explain. I had recorded about 2/3 of an episode, and then I went on to check how much time I had left to do this little wrap-up piece that was going to be part of the storyline. And lo and behold, I discovered I had deleted all my other recordings, which really kind of sucked because I had done a game save because it was at some time later. And I had also completed all the off-camera work. So you can see our grass has all been mowed and our field prepped here in October. And our bales are all around here. So we have some bales to sell. Quite a tidy little stack of them actually. And I have determined that the best price is in January. So that's something we will do then. What I had recorded was a really nice segment on the corn harvest down at TFS's. And of course, that had all been completed, done and dusted, as you would say. And so, of course, that's already all done. So, but that wasn't the end of my trials and tribulations trying to get this episode out. So I came on and I had to decide how I was going to carry on with the storyline, what I was going to do. And once I decided that, I had done a little tidying up around the yard. And one of the things you didn't get to see is I was using our John Deere and our trailer and this drawbar down at TFS's when we did the corn harvest. But because some idiot deleted the recordings, you didn't get to see that. But I hadn't cleaned up all the equipment when I had left, so I was doing that. And I parked this trailer up here. And I was using this drawbar, which you've seen me use many times, actually, on lots of Let's Plays. I've used it an awful lot. And I use it when I'm pulling this trailer with the John Deere, because the John Deere doesn't have a high hitch. And this trailer, as you can see, has a fairly high hitch on it. Well, what I had done is I didn't even realize I had done it, is I disconnected the drawbar from the John Deere and it was still attached to the trailer. Now, I don't normally do that. I usually leave the drawbar on the tractor. But because I had done that, and then I had done a game save and gone out, when I came back in, my game would not load. I got the spinning wheel at 85%. And I thought at that point that Bloomfield was dead because I didn't have any clue what went on. But I went on the internet and did some cruising around, and they said it was a mod conflict. And because I'm playing this on multiplayer, I tried starting it up on standard. That didn't work. And I hadn't put any new mods in. Hadn't really done any updates for a day or two. But that was the answer. Kept coming back. There was a mod conflict. So what I did is I disabled every mod I wasn't using on the map to see if that would let me in. It did not. Then I disabled all the mods. And of course, everything was gone off the map. It would let me in, so I definitely knew it was a mod. But I just had no clue where to start because I hadn't put anything in since I'd just been recording. But luckily enough, I went back to the internet, searched around some more, and as it turned out, my old buddy Rusty Munning Gaming had the same thing happen to him, and he had a video on it. And although it was a different drawbar, it was him that figured it out, that when you leave the drawbar attached to your equipment and then do a save and leave the game, you are not going to get back in. You are going to get that spinning wheel of death at 85%. So I'm actually using a different drawbar than Rusty was using. But it didn't make any difference. I had the same result when it was attached to the trailer. Now, this goes to show that I have not done that. I don't typically do that because I'm using that just about on every Let's Play and have for a long time, and I've never experienced it before. So be warned. Do not leave the drawbar attached to the equipment and exit the game. But the fix is pretty easy. Just disable the drawbar and come in. Of course, you'll have to rebuy it, but your game will work fine. So big shout out to Rusty Money Gaming for that. I do watch his content. I know he watches some of mine. I don't know if he's watching this series, but I will certainly make sure to go on his Discord and thank him for that fix, because I really did think Bloomfield was going to be done. Because I was just pondering whether I have my console is at over 80% full from mods, and to try and figure out which one of those suckers was causing the problem. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that or not. But anyways, all's good now. But that wasn't the end of it. Literally like 10 minutes ago, I came in now to do the final setup and do this record. I opened up the garage door, and there it was. Gone. My wife's car. At some point, I must have deleted that mod, because I was just shocked the car was gone. So it's back. I think I've got it the same colors. Well, this has been a struggle, this one. Anyway, I think we're good now. So, with all that nonsense out of the road, what are we up to? Well, as you would have known, I got a call from TFS earlier in the month, and he's coming down for a visit, and he wants to have dinner with my wife and I, and he said he has some exciting news to share with us. So that's what we're doing now, and I thought we'd take the wife's car, because we haven't taken the old Mustang out for a little run in a while, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll jump in here, and we will head down to, or head towards town, but we're going to make a stop here at TFS's, and I'll just show you what went on there with the Harvest Quick on our way. And then once we've had dinner with TFS, I will bring you back in, and I'll let you know what the big news is as soon as I know. So I will see you down at TFS's in just a moment. Okay, we're down at TFS's. As you can see, the corn is gone. I plowed the field with the plow that I forgot that TFS had that we could have used. And I rented the rock picker from Neil, or sorry, I should say from Ben, on TFS's behalf, and picked up the rocks, and I just stuck them in a pile here behind this building. I didn't know where to put them, but he's got the Bobcat in the bucket, and he can move those easy enough when he gets back. So, another little minor, fairly minor faux pas I made. This episode seems to be full of them. I put all the corn in the pig food production, and so I didn't track how much I was dumping in here, because I thought, well, I'd just look in the production, and then I realized after I'd done all that, that there was a little bit of corn in this production, but I had forgotten how much. So there's currently 67,000 liters. I think there was about 6,000 or 7,000 liters in there. So we got roughly 60,000 liters off of that field. So he has enough corn to make 130,000 liters of pig food, because corn is exactly half the pig food mixture. He has more than enough barley, because he has 50,000 liters of barley in there. He only needs roughly 30,000. I didn't do the exact calculations, but that's an estimate. And it will be, the canola will be the next thing that goes in, and that will be next month. The only other thing I was going to say is Neil is going to come down and throw lime on this field and the canola field when it's done, and then we do need to transfer Neil out of TFS's account for basically the lime on all three fields. I believe that's going to be approximately $1,000 that we've got to send him for that work. So I think that gets you caught up on everything I deleted, or almost everything. Actually, we'll take a quick run around here, and there it is, sitting right there. There's the plow. You know, and I think I've even used that helping TFS out, and I just totally forgot when it came to do our potato field that we had access to it. Yeah. Oh well, no harm, no foul. Now, those piggies, that's something we're going to talk about with TFS tonight. I can't remember if I mentioned that in the episode I didn't delete or the one I did, but we're going to talk to him about his pig situation because he's got a number of them in there now. But anyways, we're off to our dinner with our friends, and I will catch up with you when we get back, and I'll let you know what the news was. So we'll see you in a little bit. Well, hello. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. We had an excellent visit with TFS and his wife. It was great to see them. They've been gone almost a year, so it was nice to catch up. He's doing very well in McMurray, and I'm happy for him. He seems to be pretty happy. We got home about an hour ago, and we decided to come out here and have a fire. I was just kind of watching the embers burn down. My wife has gone off to bed, so I'm sitting here kind of alone in the dark with my thoughts in my comfy chair, thinking about the news that TFS shared with us. Like I said, he's done very well, and he's looking forward to getting back into farming. He's just not looking forward to getting back into farming here. He's moving. He's not coming back to Bloomfield. He is buying a farm in a place called Edgewater, Saskatchewan, which would be about 6-7 hours east of us. As it turns out, I didn't realize he has some relatives out that way, and they've got an opportunity for him. So he's pulling up stakes. And he would like us to buy his farm. We've got first option on it, I guess you'd say. He has not even advertised it or listed it. We're the first that he's told this news to. Now, surprisingly, my wife was all over it. I think she would have made a deal right then and there. Me, I'm a little bit more hesitant. You know, we're debt free here. We didn't have much of a mortgage, but we've managed to pay that off, and we're making a reasonable living. And I was looking forward to having my wife not have to work anymore and just be able to concentrate on things around our what we call a farm. I guess by most they would call it a hobby farm, but we were just talking about it, and she was all in. She said she would didn't mind working from home a little bit longer if that's what it took to make it happen. Why, she even volunteered to sell her precious Mustang. Boy, now I know she's serious, but I'm just not so sure I'm keen on going into all that debt. We would have to assume a significant amount of debt. Now, TFS said he would honor his agreement, that we made up until December. So he would just take the 20,000 float that we started with, and everything else would be ours. He also, though, would be taking all the equipment, and there's the biggest worry. We'd have to have a significant loan just to buy the property, and we'd have no equipment, or just the equipment we have, and we certainly don't have what it takes to farm the quantity of land he has. We barely have what we need to farm our own. So it's quite an undertaking. So that's what I was sitting here thinking about, watching the fire die down. But I suppose tomorrow is another work day. I should get up here and head in. But what we'll do is we have done everything for this month. So I think I will see you next month. Oh, I should close the garage door, I suppose, so the car doesn't disappear again. Although it didn't seem to stop the thieves last time. Anyway, I will leave you there, and I will meet you in November. And I guess we will be doing more harvesting, canola harvesting, unfortunately. Like I said, no corn to harvest. So it's kind of more of the same, but we'll talk some more about what we might be doing in the future. So we'll see you in November. Well, hello and welcome to November. It's almost been November. It's been nearly a month in game since we were here last. There is a harvest that needs to be done at TFS's, but the weather wasn't cooperating early in the month. But we have a glorious day here, so we should be able to get that done today. But there's some things I wanted to bring you up to speed here at the farm. My wife has gone gangbusters here in the farm shop. She now has it open full time. She's hired a local girl to come in and look after it when she cannot. And she's talked to the other wives in the area, and they're supplying some other products other than what we have here. Uh, and they're being sold out of the farm shop as well. For example, Neil's wife is bringing eggs because our chickens are not supplying enough eggs right now. And Sims's wife, she's bringing some milk products, and some of the other wives are bringing like preserves and some knitted goods and just pretty much anything handmade or from the farm. They're selling out of here, and because it's open full time now, parking was becoming a bit of an issue, and they tended to park willy-nilly wherever they wanted. So my wife suggested we put in a designated parking area. We didn't really have a good spot for it, but I decided to tuck it in down here. And so it wasn't too costly, but you can see our money did go down some because I had to, get some dirt hauled away and some pavement put down. And then I went to the local greenhouse and bought some shrubbery and planted in a few rows of shrubbery here just to block the view of the parking lot from our backyard. Didn't really want to sit at the fire and look at a parking lot. So that's where our money went. Now we had one little issue. I had landscaped all this in, and then when I put the parking lot in, it went and did this for some reason. It flattened out further than I anticipated. And unfortunately, I don't own this land. I don't think I can own it, the roadways. I might try buying this and see if I can landscape that out, but it kind of messed up the road here a little bit. Not horrendous, but unfortunately, I didn't notice it until after I had done a game save, so I was kind of committed. Otherwise, I would have flattened it back and moved it, or flattened back this way a little bit more and moved it back further. But it is what it is. We can live with it. But I might buy that one property and see if I can fix it. We'll see. But anyways, so that's what's going on. And you may wonder what prompted this sudden beehive of activity around the farm shop and increase in what's basically the productivity here. And that is because we have decided to take over TFS's farm. So, more on that when we get down there. I'm going to jump in my pickup truck here. I'll head to what is still TFS's for the time being, but will soon be ours. And we'll talk about what's going to transpire here in, about a month and a half. So we'll see you down there. Well, come January 1st, this will all be ours. Everything except the equipment. None of the equipment at all is staying. TFS wants to take that all with him to Saskatchewan. The pigs are staying. There's 60 in this pen now. As you may recall, a while back, TFS did sell some off. He didn't like to keep that many, but when he was thinking about selling, he decided to leave these here, and it'll be now our decision how many we want to keep. Now, I did talk to him about potentially subdividing the house and taking that out of the equation. We did talk to the county. Unfortunately, this can't be subdivided because when TFS put up this new pig mixing facility, it's too close to the house to be subdivided off, so it's got to stay as one property. So we'll just use that as a rental property, and if our farm grows big enough, we could maybe have a worker in there. So if we take a look at the map, we get all of this in the light blue, and what that is going to be is Murphy's Farm LLC, a separate company, and my wife and I will be the sole shareholders. Now, we've been talking to the bank. This property, the raw land value is $470,000. So with the improvements, TFS would like $600,000, which seems fair because that includes a house and new pig shed and the hayloft, and there's certainly a lot of value there. But what the bank will not lend us $600,000 against this property. They'll only lend us 500. What they wanted to do is they wanted to take and include everything, all of our home place in there. And I definitely did not want that. And then alternatively, they said they'd do 600,000 if we put the farmland in, like area 2 and area 3. And again, I was against that because what I want is if this farm goes bust, because we're going to be so heavily in debt, I didn't want to lose everything. So we're going to carry, the agreement is, we're going to carry a $100,000 loan against our home place, but because this is held by a limited company, if it goes bankrupt, our home place is not in jeopardy. And that's why I didn't want to lose Field 2 here, because we started with a $50,000 mortgage on here. And if we had 100,000, we could still make it. But we would lose our revenue stream if we lost like this land area 5 and 2. So that's what we're going to do. There'll be $500,000 against this property here, and the other 100,000 against our home place. But we'll have no equipment whatsoever. The bank has agreed to give us like an operating loan, line of credit, that's the word I was looking for, of actually $200,000, but all of that goes against our home place as well. But we can borrow up to $200,000 without any further involvement from the bank. So that's what we're going to do. I don't feel too bad about that. Like I said, our home place isn't in jeopardy, and so I'm feeling better than I was. Oh, I need to move that trailer. Well, we need the trailer anyway. So I'm going to get set up here for that canola harvest. I guess technically it's our canola harvest, but for the last time we're going to be using TFS's equipment to do it. And we'll talk a little bit more while we're working on that. But I'll get everything set up and bring you back in. Well, here we go. We'll do this in cab. Well, because I like doing it that way, one, but mostly this harvester's a little loud and got a little talking to do. So, as I mentioned, there's roughly 65,000 liters of corn. So that means between potatoes, canola, and barley, we need 65,000 liters, with half of that being barley, which is not a problem. The other half being canola and potatoes. Potatoes is not going to be an issue, so it comes down to the canola. How much canola we get will determine how much pig food we can make. Going forward, I'll keep track of what we get off this field, and then we'll only put enough of the other products in to make that amount of pig food. And we should have a little extra that we can sell off, so maximize what we get. So my wife has jumped into this idea with both feet. She actually shared with me, she's been down and coughing a little bit with Sims's wife, and she'd really like to have an operation, something like that. And she made a very valid point. If we were to carry on and try and do this with cash out of the pocket without doing any loans, we'd probably be retirement age before we had anything significant. And so she said at some point we were going to have to jump in and borrow some money to expand. And she made a good point. We know what we're getting into. We've worked on this for the last year. We kind of know what we can make off of it. It's kind of, there's no unknown quantities. And it just, from that point of view, it made good sense. Just, when you're debt free, it's kind of a bad feeling to go back into debt. When you've been in debt and then get out, kind of reluctant to get back there. But we did pretty good on that pig food. That's really where a lot of the money's going to come right now, off of the farm. Of course, our little farm shop, it's ramping up and making us some good coin there too. And haven't decided how many pigs we'll keep and feed, or at what point we'll start selling them off, but we'll make money from selling animals as well. So I'm feeling much better about it than I was initially, with the thought of being, what now, $600,000 in debt. And certainly heading for more because, like I said, we can't farm this with our little John Deere. As much as I like it, it's not going to cut it. So we're going to need to go have a conversation with Ben and see what we can work out there. That Kubota, actually, if it's still available, that would be a good buy for us. It's not the biggest tractor in the world, but it didn't have that many hours on it. So I think we'll be rating Sims US, or used equipment, I should say. Not Sims, Ben's. What am I thinking? Ben's used equipment pretty heavily. But not likely to do that towards spring. Why carry that debt? We won't need anything more than what we have throughout the winter, so that'll be something we'll deal with in the spring. But I will leave you there. The last episode was a lot of harvesting. Was all harvesting, if I remember correctly. So I'll get this finished up, and we'll see what we've got to throw into the pig food build production, and we'll be able to have some idea what we might have for pig food for sale. There's actually like 40,000 liters still in there, so that technically could all be sold because that's excess, and then we just need to kind of make a judgment call on how much we need to keep on hand until we can make some more. So I'll see you when I get this all done. So catch up with you in a little bit. Well, the struggles for this episode continue. I was dumping the canola in here, and my network crashed, and it gave me a message. But when that happened, it stopped my recording and deleted it. So I lost that little bit. But all it was me dumping in there, so no big deal. So what I dumped in there was just over 13,000 liters of canola, and I was saying that was a little bit shy of what I was expecting. But then I remembered, I think it was canola last year that the crop withered on me. What it was is it came due the first month it was available to harvest, but it was also available next, and I left it because for the storyline, I wanted to do two things at once, and it actually withered in that second month, so I had to go and replace that canola. And so that's why there was so close on the barley and the corn, because I put in the appropriate amount of canola where we didn't get quite enough off of that field to use up all those supplies. We're going to be able to make 66,000 liters of pig food, which is more than enough, and we'd still have some to sell, not as much as we would have. And I'd have to explain that to the bean counter, the one that's watching the pennies back home. But then I was thinking what we could do is, if I remember correctly, I'll check my notes, we got peak price for pig food for sale between December and March. And what we could do, the month that has the lowest price on canola in there, we could buy the canola we need and then make pig food out of it. Now, the pricing I did on pig food was based on the premium price for the product plus a little bit. I can't remember, I think like 30% more it was during that peak period, December through March, and then only 15% more the rest of the year, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but that was the thought behind it. Anyways, what it means is, yes, we wouldn't make as much money, but we'd still make money, and we would still make a little bit of money on the canola especially if we bought it as cheap as we could. So I'll run that past the bean counter, and we may do that. And as it turns out, it'll happen right in spring when we can use the cash the most. So that wraps up that portion of our show. Now, there were a couple things I forgot to mention. One, I mentioned it in my first recording, and the one that got deleted, and I forgot to touch on that, and that is Bally Spring. So if you're still with me, you'll get this information. You know what I'll do is I'll repeat it too in the next, at the beginning of the next Silver Run one. So if you're watching that, that series is still alive. It's just I'm right at a point now where I have the maximum amount of off-camera work, and my game time is limited more in the summer. And Bally Spring, or I should say, sorry, Bloomfield and Silver Run, although not an insignificant amount of off-camera work, have less than Bally Spring. So I am working on it when I can. And there will be episodes coming, but it's just as time allows that I can do a lot of off-camera work. That was that. And the last thing relates to this map in that I am going to run two separate bank accounts between the home account and the farm account, and we can transfer money back and forth. Although it's only likely to go one direction to the farm, and my wife said that's called a shareholder loan, and technically the farm at some point needs to pay that back. But we are going to maintain two separate accounts and in the game. So that is how that's going to be handled. But I think we will leave it there for now. Of course, there'll be more information on the acquisition of the TFS property, and that's when I think I will bring you in next. We'll just move through December into January because I don't think there'll be much going on in December. And what I'll likely do is we'll do a short bit in January where we take over the keys and any other final details that on that acquisition that might need to be covered at that point in time. And then I'll likely then the rest of that episode will be in spring. So we'll seriously get going in spring again. So I will see you in January, but for this episode, we'll leave it there. So if you're still with me, really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode, it's Farmer Murphy signing off from Bloomfield.